Marcus had learned to see people differently after his wife died. Not just their faces or their clothes, but the weight they carried in their shoulders, the stories hidden behind their eyes. He'd become an expert at reading pain because he'd lived it, breathed it, carried it home to his 7-year-old daughter Emma every night for the past 2 years. So when he saw the woman doubled over in the corner of the subway car at 11:47 p.m., clutching her belly with tears streaming down her face, he didn't think twice about crossing those invisible lines that keep strangers separate in a city of 8 million. The late shift at the hospital where Marcus worked as a janitor had just ended. His scrubs were wrinkled, his Nike sneakers squeaked against the subway floor, and all he wanted was to get home to Emma, who was staying overnight at his mother's apartment in Queens. The train was nearly empty, just him, the woman, and a homeless man sleeping in the far corner. Most people would have looked away, minded their own business. Marcus had been most people once. "Mom, are you okay?" His voice was gentle, the same tone he used when Emma woke up from nightmares about her mom. The woman looked up, and Marcus saw terror mixed with something else, determination. She was maybe 35, with shoulder-length brown hair now damp with perspiration, wearing what looked like an expensive business suit that seemed completely out of place on the downtown 6 train after midnight. I think my baby's coming," she gasped between contractions. "The storm. All the roads are closed. Couldn't get to the hospital." Outside, Hurricane Helena was battering New York with winds that had shut down half the city's transportation. The subway was one of the few things still running, albeit sporadically. Marcus glanced at his phone. No signal underground. They were trapped between stations, and from the sound of the wind howling through the tunnels, they might be here for a while. "What's your name?" Marcus asked, kneeling beside her. "Sarah," she managed. "Sarah Chen." "I'm Marcus." "Sarah, I need you to listen to me. I'm not a doctor, but I've delivered a baby before. My daughter Emma came so fast that the paramedics didn't make it to our apartment in time." He didn't mention that Emma's birth had been the last truly happy moment before his wife's cancer diagnosis. Some stories were too heavy for strangers to carry. Sarah's eyes widened. "You delivered your own daughter?" "Me and my wife." "Well, mostly me while she did all the real work." Marcus managed a small smile. "But the point is, babies have been coming into this world for thousands of years without fancy hospitals. We can do this." The train shuddered to a complete stop. The lights flickered once, twice, then settled into a dim emergency glow. "Perfect." Marcus took off his jacket and laid it on the subway bench. "Sarah, I need you to lie down here." "Can you do that for me?" As he helped her get comfortable, Sarah grabbed his wrist. "Marcus, there's something you should know. My husband. He doesn't know I'm pregnant. We've been separated for 6 months. And I found out after he moved out. I was on my way to tell him tonight when the storm hit." "That's a conversation for later," Marcus said firmly. "Right now, it's just you, me, and this baby who's decided tonight's the night." The next 20 minutes felt like hours. Marcus coached Sarah through her breathing, using the techniques he'd learned in the childbirth class he and his wife had taken 7 years ago. He tore his clean undershirt into strips, grateful for the small medical kit he always carried, a habit left over from his army medic days, before Emma was born, before life became about steady paychecks and health insurance instead of adrenaline and purpose. "I can see the head," Marcus announced, his voice cracking with emotion he hadn't expected. "Sarah, you're doing amazing. One more push." And then, at 12:23 a.m. on October 15th, in the dingy underground tunnel beneath Manhattan, a perfect baby girl slid into Marcus's hands. She was tiny, pink, and absolutely furious about her unconventional arrival. Her cries echoed off the subway walls like a song. "She's beautiful," Marcus whispered, carefully cleaning the baby and wrapping her in his jacket. "Sarah, you did it. You really did it." Sarah was sobbing and laughing simultaneously as Marcus placed the baby on her chest. "Thank you," she kept repeating. "Thank you, thank you, thank you." The train lurched back to life 20 minutes later, limping toward the next station where a crew of paramedics waited. Marcus had used the emergency phone to call for help once they'd started moving again. As they loaded Sarah and the baby into the ambulance, she grabbed his hand one more time. "Marcus, I don't know how to repay you." "You don't need to repay anything," he said. "Just love that little girl." Sarah pressed a business card into his palm. "Call me, please." "I mean it." Marcus glanced at the card before stuffing it in his pocket without really reading it. He was already thinking about getting home to Emma, about the story he'd tell her about helping bring a new baby into the world. 3 weeks later, Marcus was mopping the executive floor of Lenox Hill Hospital when his supervisor, Janet, appeared looking flustered. "Marcus, there's someone here to see you. Says it's important." He found Sarah waiting in the lobby, looking polished and professional in a way that seemed impossible for someone who'd given birth on a subway. Beside her stood a man in an expensive suit and a baby carrier with a sleeping infant inside. "Sarah, how are you? How's the baby?" "She's perfect." "Marcus, I'd like you to meet my husband, David Chen." The man extended his hand with a warm smile. "And this is baby Hope. We named her Hope because, well, because you gave us hope when we needed it most." Marcus shook David's hand, confused. "Your husband?" "But I thought." Sarah laughed, the sound bright in the sterile hospital lobby. "We worked things out. It turns out that finding out you're going to be parents in the middle of a hurricane kind of puts everything else in perspective." "That's wonderful," Marcus said genuinely. "I'm really happy for you both." David cleared his throat. "Marcus, Sarah told me what you did, how you helped her, how you stayed calm, how you took care of both of them. Anyone would have done the same thing." "No," Sarah said quietly, "they wouldn't have. And that's why we're here." She paused, glancing at her husband. "Marcus, do you remember my business card?" He did, vaguely. He'd stuck it in his wallet and forgotten about it. "Yeah, why?" "You never called, so I had to track you down." "Marcus, I'm the CEO of Chen Medical Technologies. We develop medical equipment and fund healthcare programs across the city." Marcus blinked. "You're what?" "I'm also on the board of directors here at Lenox Hill," Sarah continued. "And we've been looking for someone to head our new community outreach program. Someone who understands healthcare from the ground up, who's served in the military, who has a heart for helping people." The world seemed to tilt slightly. "Are you offering me a job?" David nodded. "A good job. Full benefits, college fund for Emma, the works. But more than that, it's a chance to do what you did on that subway train every day. Be there when people need help most." Marcus felt his throat tighten. "I don't understand." "Why me?" "Because," Sarah said, "in the middle of a storm, when everything was chaos, you saw a stranger who needed help and you didn't hesitate. You didn't ask questions about who I was or what I could do for you. You just helped." She smiled. "That's exactly the kind of person we need." 6 months later, Marcus walked through the doors of his new office building, wearing a suit that still felt foreign but was getting more comfortable every day. The Community Healthcare Initiative had already opened 3 new clinics in underserved neighborhoods, and they were just getting started. Emma loved their new apartment, loved her new school, and especially loved the framed photo on Marcus's desk of him holding baby Hope on the day she was born. Sarah and David had become family friends. The kind of people who showed up for Emma's school plays and remembered her birthday. But the best part wasn't the job or the apartment or even the financial security. The best part was the letter Marcus kept in his wallet, written in Emma's careful second-grade handwriting. "Dear Daddy, I'm proud of you for helping the baby be born. Mummy would be proud too. Love, Emma. That night on the subway, Marcus had thought he was just helping a stranger. He had no idea he was actually saving his own family's future. But maybe that's how kindness works, so you throw it out into the world without expecting anything back. And sometimes, when you least expect it, it comes home. Hope Chen took her first steps on a Tuesday in spring, in Sarah and David's living room while Marcus and Emma watched and cheered. Later, as they walked home through Central Park, Emma asked her father why he'd helped a stranger on the subway that night. Marcus thought about it for a moment, watching the sunset over the city that had given them both a second chance. Because that's what people do for each other, sweetheart. That's how we take care of each other. Emma nodded solemnly, then brightened. Daddy, when I grow up, I want to help people too. You will, Em. You will. And Marcus knew she would. After all, kindness was the best inheritance he could leave her.